Most people don't realize this. Your nervous system is the control center of your reality. When it's overloaded with stress, fear, and old patterns, your ability to manifest collapses. But what if I told you there's a simple quantum practice that doesn't just calm your mind? It actually resets your nervous system, rewiring you for clarity, alignment, and effortless manifestation. Stay with me, because this may change the way you create your life.
The real key to quantum manifestation is not just in your thoughts, it's in your nervous system. You can say, "I am abundant" 1,000 times, but if your body is locked in stress, fear, or survival, the field doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your state. And if your state is chaos, what do you think the universe mirrors back? Chaos. Think about this for a moment. Your nervous system is the first receiver of reality. Every sound, every sensation, every event you perceive is filtered through it. If your body is running in fight or flight mode, your perception narrows, your energy contracts, and you are literally cut off from higher frequencies of possibility. Neuroscience has shown this again and again. Dr. Joe Dispenza, in his groundbreaking work Becoming Supernatural, explains that when the body is addicted to stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, it keeps recreating the same predictable past. Because your nervous system believes you are not safe. And if the body believes it's not safe, the quantum field has no permission to deliver something new. This is why so many people struggle. They do the visualizations, they attend workshops, they repeat mantras, but nothing changes. Not because the method is wrong, but because the receiver is jammed. It's like trying to tune into a radio station while static drowns out the signal. You might hear fragments of the music, but never the full song. The nervous system in stress is that static. The field is broadcasting infinite timelines, but your body can't lock onto them. And until you learn to reset it, you will keep collapsing the same old reality over and over again. Now here's the hidden key. When you regulate your nervous system, when you bring it into coherence, you unlock a portal that very few people ever access consciously. Suddenly, your body shifts from survival to creation. Your heart rate synchronizes with your breathing. Your brain waves move from chaos into harmony, and your entire electromagnetic field expands. And in that expanded state, the universe listens differently. The commands you send to the field are no longer drowned in noise. They are pure, direct, and powerful. Bruce Lipton, the pioneering author of The Biology of Belief, once said that our cells don't just respond to genetics, they respond to signals from the environment, including the signals produced by our thoughts and emotions. But here's the deeper truth. If your nervous system is dysregulated, it is constantly sending signals of danger. And when your biology is broadcasting fear, no matter what your mind is saying, the field is receiving. Not safe. Not ready. Not now. That's why so many people unconsciously block their manifestations without realizing it. But imagine this. What if the very sensations you thought were holding you back, the tight chest, the racing thoughts, the restless energy, were not signs of failure but invitations to reset? What if every moment of overwhelm was actually the universe saying, pause, breathe, align, open the portal again? Because in quantum mechanics, before a particle shifts into a new state, it enters uncertainty, a liminal space where it can become anything. Your nervous system does the same. Right before a breakthrough, it wavers. And if you know how to meet it, you can turn that moment of instability into the doorway to your quantum leap. So stay with me, because in this video, I'm not just going to tell you why your nervous system is the portal to miracles. I'm going to show you how to reset it, how to move from survival to creation, how to step out of the noise and into coherence. And once you feel that shift, you'll never approach manifestation the same way again, because it was never about how much effort you put in, but about how deeply you regulate the field inside of you. This is where the real miracles begin. Science has been whispering to us something mystics have known for centuries. Your nervous system is not just biological hardware. It is a gateway, an antenna, a transmitter of your interaction with the quantum field. In neuroscience, we know that the autonomic nervous system has two primary states: sympathetic, the stress response, fight or flight, and parasympathetic, the rest, repair, and creative response. Most people spend their entire lives stuck in the first state. Their bodies are flooded with stress hormones, their perception is narrowed to threat detection, and their energy field collapses inward. This is survival, and survival locks you out of creation. But here's where quantum mechanics enters the story. In physics, coherence is the foundation of powerful phenomena. When photons or particles are coherent, they move in harmony, creating laser beams, superconductors, or other highly efficient states. Incoherence, on the other hand, scatters energy in all directions. Your body and consciousness behave the same way. A dysregulated nervous system is incoherence. Your thoughts go one way, your emotions another, your body signals danger, and your intentions are lost in the noise. The quantum field does not respond to incoherence. It mirrors back the chaos. Dr. Joe Dispenza has demonstrated in countless workshops and studies that when people shift their nervous system into coherence, often measured through heart rate variability and brainwave synchronization, they spontaneously experience what most would call miracles: spontaneous healing, sudden opportunities, shifts in relationships. Why? Because the field is not responding to their desperate thoughts, but to the coherent electromagnetic signal radiating from their regulated body. The nervous system, when balanced, becomes a conductor, not static. Let's look deeper. Your vagus nerve, sometimes called the wandering nerve, is the primary highway of parasympathetic activation. When activated through breathwork, meditation, or even intentional awareness, it signals to your body, you are safe. And safety is the foundation of expansion. In safety, your brain shifts from high beta waves of stress into alpha and theta, the very states connected to creativity, intuition, and deep connection with the field. These brain states are not random. They are measurable frequencies of resonance, aligning you with realities beyond survival. Quantum physics adds another layer. According to John Wheeler's participatory universe theory, reality only collapses into form when observed. But what happens when your observation is filtered through fear? You collapse realities that match fear. And when your observation comes from coherence, you collapse realities that match abundance, joy, and expansion. Your nervous system is literally the lens through which you observe, the regulator that determines what frequency you're tuned to when you look into the field. Think of it this way. If your body is in stress, your signal to the field is scrambled. You might be visualizing abundance, but your heart rate is screaming, "I am unsafe." The universe doesn't hear your words, it hears your vibration. And vibration is always more honest than thought. This is why Joe Dispenza often says that you can't think your way to a new reality. You must feel your way there. And feeling is impossible to fake when your nervous system is dysregulated. But here's the extraordinary opportunity. You don't need years of study to begin shifting this. Simple, intentional practices that calm the nervous system have been shown to unlock coherence almost instantly. Slow, rhythmic breathing, heart-focused meditation, gratitude practices that literally shift brain chemistry. Bruce Lipton reminds us that when cells are not in defense, they switch to growth. Your nervous system works the same way. When it feels safe, it grows, expands, and opens. That openness is the exact state the quantum field requires to deliver new realities. So pause and reflect. How much of your life has been spent trying to manifest from stress? How many times did you repeat affirmations while your body was locked in tension, your shoulders tight, your breath shallow? Can you see now why it didn't work? It wasn't that the universe ignored you. It was that your nervous system blocked the signal. Reset the system, and suddenly, the field responds. Not slowly, but instantly. Because coherence is faster than effort. And here's the most empowering part. When you shift your nervous system, you're not just regulating your biology, you're reprogramming your relationship with the field itself. You're telling the universe, I am safe, I am open, I am ready. And the field, like a mirror, reflects it back in kind. That's not just spirituality. That's quantum science in action. Now that you understand why your nervous system is the bridge between you and the quantum field, let's move from theory into practice. The great misunderstanding most people have is that manifestation is about thinking harder, visualizing longer, or repeating affirmations with more intensity. But the truth is much simpler. The state of your nervous system determines whether those intentions ever leave your body as a coherent signal. If you want to reset your reality, you must first reset your system, and you can do this faster than you think. Let's start with the foundation: breath. In neuroscience, breath is the only system that can be both automatic and consciously regulated. That means it's your direct access point to the autonomic nervous system. Studies show that slow, rhythmic breathing, about 5 to 6 breaths per minute, naturally increases vagal tone, activating your parasympathetic state. But here's where quantum manifestation comes in. When you breathe this way with intention, you are not just calming your body, you are signaling the field with coherence. You are literally telling the universe, I am safe, I am aligned, I am ready. Here's a simple exercise inspired by Joe Dispenza's meditations and validated by neuroscience. Close your eyes. Inhale slowly for 5 counts, hold for 2, exhale for 7. On the inhale, imagine pulling energy up from the base of your spine toward your heart. On the exhale, release any tension, doubt, or fear into the field. Do this for at least 3 minutes. What you're doing is more than relaxation. You're synchronizing heart and brain rhythms, creating what the HeartMath Institute calls heart-brain coherence. In this state, the electromagnetic field around your heart becomes ordered, powerful, and broadcast ready. The second step is emotional priming. Your nervous system is deeply wired to respond to emotion, not logic. Gratitude, love, and joy are not just nice feelings. They are high-frequency states that literally reset your neurochemistry. When you intentionally generate gratitude, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, the feel-good neurotransmitters that signal safety to the body. This reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, and shifts your entire physiology into coherence. But here's the key. You must feel it as real. Don't just think, I am grateful. Flood your body with the sensation of already receiving. That feeling is what the field translates into form. The third step is intentional stillness. This may feel counterintuitive because we live in a culture that idolizes doing. But quantum creation does not come from action. It comes from being. After your breathwork and emotional priming, sit in silence for a few minutes. Observe without needing to control. Neuroscientists call this the default mode network, the part of the brain active when you're not focused outward but inward. In this space, the old neural patterns begin to quiet, and new ones have the chance to form. It's in this stillness that the quantum field locks in your new signal. And here's where the science and spirituality converge beautifully. Quantum physics tells us that until an observation is made, particles exist in superposition, multiple states at once. Your nervous system, when reset, becomes the observer that collapses the reality of abundance, health, or love into form. But if your system is stressed, fragmented, or incoherent, you collapse the same old patterns. The reset practice ensures that every observation you make from this state is charged with coherence, making manifestation not just possible, but inevitable. Many people underestimate this because it looks too simple. They ask, can just breathing and feeling gratitude really change my life? The answer is not only yes, but science confirms it. Dr. Richard Davidson at the University of Wisconsin has shown that even short-term meditation alters brain structure and function. The amygdala, the fear center, shrinks, while the prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making and awareness, thickens. In other words, your brain rewires itself to stop reacting from fear and start creating from vision. And all of that begins with nervous system regulation. Now let's elevate this even further. In mysticism, the body has always been seen as the temple through which spirit expresses. In the quantum model, the body is not just a vessel, it's the transmitter. When you align breath, heart, and mind, you are not just calming yourself. You are literally becoming a broadcast tower for your higher self. You are sending a coherent, laser-like frequency into the quantum field. And because the field cannot ignore coherence, it mirrors it back. That's not theory, that's physics. So pause and consider. How often have you tried to manifest from a scattered, anxious, survival-driven state? And can you see now why it never worked? Resetting the nervous system isn't optional. It is the first step. And once you've experienced the shift, once you've felt your body drop into coherence, you'll never want to manifest from stress again. Because you'll finally understand, the nervous system is not just biology, it is the portal. Here's the paradox. Most people think their manifestation isn't working because they're not visualizing enough, not affirming enough, not meditating long enough. But the truth is, their nervous system is simply overriding every intention with signals of stress, fear, and survival. Remember, the quantum field doesn't listen to your words, it listens to your frequency. And your nervous system is the generator of that frequency. If it's incoherent, the field receives static. So how do you know if your nervous system is blocking your manifestation? Let's look at the signs. The first sign is constant urgency. If you often feel like time is running out, like you must get your manifestation now or it will never happen, that's your sympathetic nervous system in overdrive. Urgency is survival mode, and in survival your body is designed to run, fight, or freeze, not to create. Neuroscience shows that when cortisol floods the body, the prefrontal cortex shuts down, limiting imagination and intuition. So, even if you visualize, your body is radiating the opposite signal. I don't have it yet. I'm in danger. The quantum field reflects that. The second sign is overthinking the how. Have you ever asked for something and then immediately tried to figure out every possible way it could happen? That's not strategy. That's your nervous system scanning for threats. It's your brain's predictive coding running old patterns to keep you safe. But here's the irony. By obsessing over the how, you're actually signaling doubt. You're telling the field, I don't trust the path. And the field can only mirror back mistrust. The third sign is emotional volatility. You set your intention one day, and the next you're consumed by fear, doubt, or anger. This emotional roller coaster is not a sign you're broken. It's simply your nervous system flickering between old survival patterns and your new desired state. But if left unchecked, these fluctuations create incoherence. Instead of sending a clear laser-like signal to the quantum field, you send a mixed frequency. One moment abundance, the next scarcity. And the field responds with mixed results. The fourth sign is body tension. Manifestation is not only in the mind, it's in the body. If your shoulders are tight, your jaw is clenched, or your chest feels heavy, that's your nervous system holding on to survival. Joe Dispenza teaches that the body is the subconscious mind. If the body doesn't believe it's safe, no amount of mental intention will override it. Your tension is broadcasting, I'm not free yet. And the field simply mirrors that state. The fifth sign is resistance to stillness. If sitting in silence feels unbearable, that's a clear indicator your nervous system is dysregulated. In quantum terms, silence is the portal. It's the moment when you step out of the old timeline and into possibility. But if your nervous system is stuck in fight or flight, silence feels threatening. That's why so many people avoid meditation, not because they can't do it, but because their body doesn't feel safe enough to let go. Now here's the empowering truth. These signs are not failures. They are signals. They are your nervous system's way of showing you exactly where the shift is needed. When you become aware of them, you stop fighting yourself and start regulating yourself. Awareness itself is the first step to coherence. As Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. So let me ask you, which of these signs do you recognize in your own journey? Do you feel the urgency, the overthinking, the tension, the roller coaster of emotions? If yes, that's not a setback. It's your invitation. It means you are standing right at the edge of a quantum reset. Leave your comment with the phrase, I choose coherence over chaos. When you write it, you're not just typing words. You're sending a quantum declaration, a signal that you're ready to move from survival into creation. And now stay with me. Because in the next phase, I'm going to show you how to transform these exact blocks into your launch pad, turning nervous system dysregulation into your clearest sign that manifestation is closer than you think. What if the very thing you've been resisting, the nervous system dysregulation, the emotional turbulence, the tension in your body, was not your enemy, but your doorway? This is where most people misunderstand the process. They think regulation means perfection. They believe that to manifest, they must become endlessly calm, blissful, and unshaken. But that's not the truth. In fact, the quantum shift often begins at the exact moment you become aware of your dysregulation. The chaos is not blocking you, it's signaling you. It's saying, you are ready to evolve beyond this pattern. In neuroscience, there's a principle called neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself. But here's the key. Rewiring doesn't happen when you're in autopilot. It happens at the edges, when you notice the old response and choose a new one. So when your nervous system throws up old fear, old urgency, or old tension, that's not failure. That's the window of plasticity. That's when your brain is the most malleable. Joe Dispenza describes this as the teachable moment, when the body presents the old program, and you consciously install the new one by choosing coherence instead of chaos. Quantum physics mirrors this idea. Before a particle collapses into one state, it hovers in superposition, multiple possibilities at once. Your nervous system dysregulation is like that superposition. You're flickering between the old self and the new self. If you collapse into fear, you reinforce the old timeline. But if in that very moment of flicker you breathe, regulate, and choose coherence, you collapse into the higher reality. Dysregulation is therefore not an obstacle. It is the raw material of transformation. Think of it this way: the tremble in your body, the racing thoughts, the rapid heartbeat. These are just energy. Unorganized, chaotic energy. Energy that wants direction. And when you redirect it into coherence through breath, awareness, and intention, you transmute survival into creation. This is alchemy at the nervous system level. Instead of running from the chaos, you harvest it as fuel. That's why so many mystics and teachers say, the obstacle is the path. They weren't speaking in metaphor. They were describing the mechanics of quantum creation. But here's the subtle art. You don't fight dysregulation with more resistance. You don't say, I shouldn't feel this fear, or I must stop this anxiety, because that doubles the incoherence. Instead, you recognize, this is the signal, this is the test, this is the field giving me one more chance to prove my new frequency.
Remember, when you reset your nervous system through quantum manifestation, you're not just calming your body. You're unlocking the natural frequency where miracles, clarity, and effortless alignment become your new reality.